So sorry about that, folks. Don't know what happened. YouTube evidently cut us off because they thought that we were copywriting something. I own all the rights to the show, guys. So don't know where you last left off, but we are the hosts of Mad World Thursday, and we are coming to you live as we try to record our very first episode of our podcast.
For Mad World Thursday.
For Mad World Thursday.
Maybe it's Mad World, because that was a song. Maybe they think we're, the fonts are in force.
Okay, so we got a message, and it says,
what's the conspiracy?
Yeah. Okay, I got an email, and the email says, YouTube has removed you from, your video has been removed from YouTube. Hi, Mama Night Owl. Your video, first podcast recording, was flagged to us for review. Upon review, we've determined that it violates our guidelines, and we've removed it from YouTube.
Which guidelines?
I don't know.
We're going to have to go to BitChute.
Okay, as mentioned, we've removed your content because we think it violates our community guidelines. Like, what guidelines?
Because I said, the use of the conspiracy.
Oh, we can't talk about conspiracies?
Really chalking it. We'll have to call it something else. We'll have to call it uncertain hypotheses.
Okay, so we're talking about uncertain hypotheses today on YouTube. And so yeah, YouTube cut off like the very first part of what we were doing and they said they removed it because we were violating some kind of copyright
They really have started to crack down on that.
And I don't know what restriction there would be. I'm trying to figure it out. Maybe somebody else can help us with that.
It's because of the conspiracy.
Don't mention COVID-19. That is actually what the topic of our podcast is.
Well, okay, so this guy that I listen to, he's been calling it the Corolla-tyrus. So we can talk about Corolla-tyrus.
But what if we need to say it for the podcast, though?
Then we can't live it.
This is so weird. Like, YouTube totally took us off.
Because here's Orwell right here, because that's the thing, is that YouTube is trying so hard to keep people from spreading misinformation that they're cracking down on everything. This is a conspiracy theory. Susan Wojcicki.
What?
She's the chick who owns YouTube. She's evil. Okay. Susan Wojcicki, she owns YouTube.
Yeah.
Her sister owns 23andMe. Was recently divorced from the dude who owns Alphabet, who owns Google.
Oh.
So 23andMe, YouTube, Google.
Okay, so But how do they connect? How does 23andMe and YouTube
they're huge databases.
Connect? So like,
and have you heard of DeepMind?
No. Okay. No.
That's Google's computer that they're building to think like a human.
Oh, now AI. Now we could go all day on AI. Like, that's the crap.
But that's where 23andMe comes in, along with YouTube, because all of them are huge databases storing like life story. Facebook started out as...
Oh my gosh. Okay, so on that subject, since we're on that subject and we're not recording a podcast right now, let me show you something. Oh my gosh. So hold on. So I'm getting up and I'm walking away from everybody and I'm coming over here. Oh my gosh.
She's going to trip over her horrible office furniture.
Yeah, it's like thrift store office furniture. Let me see if I can find this, because is my butt in the camera?
No,
okay,
not
good. I'm glad.
At all.
All right, hold on. I have it. Yes. Okay. I have this.
What is it?
All right. This is a book by Robert Charles Wilson called Darwinia. Okay.
Oh.
So the plot of this book, I want you to go read it. So I'm not going to spoil too much of it. But basically, what's happening is, and as you can tell, this has been read many times. Actually, 4 times by me and 3 times by Kevin or something. But so basically, as you read the book, all these weird things are starting to happen, and you start to realize that maybe, just maybe, this is a million years in the future, and what's happening is actually just stored in this massive satellite database in space, and it's been corrupted. So these people are actually living, but in a computer. They're AI.
I believe what's his name? The little kid from the Rascals. He said
Alfalfa?
Not Alfalfa, no. The little African American child. What's his name?
Oh, bless him. I don't know.
He said, maybe we ain't us.
Maybe we ain't.
Maybe we
Matrix.
ain't us.
It's the Matrix. Okay, so let's attempt to record.
I'm gonna die till I figure out his name.
The podcast again and see if
we can do it without getting shut down.
Yeah, let's.
We're so bad.
We're obviously so bad. Even though, to be completely honest with you, we are actually reporting the news. Like, this is not us going, okay, guys. So,
and these are actual sources. Like,
right? This is sourced stuff. Like, we actually did do research.
Bloomberg.
It might not be the best research because we just looked at each other one day and said, hey, let's make a podcast. And we said, okay. And so it might not be the best research on the planet, but
USA Today.
Dang it. We did research for this.
We did.
So
from our beds.
Definitely from our beds. So let's attempt this one more time. So we did the intro to the podcast, and we're gonna.
Where are we picking it up?
Yeah. So
we're at the story.
Let's see where we're picking it up.
I think the story, I guess.
That's right.
Okay, wait.
Like ghosts and werewolves and demons, cults and little girls who like to eat people.
Okay, so cults and little girls who like to eat people. All right, then let's start from there. So, like I said before, we have a script. So it's like we read from the script and then
more suggestion.
We chat. So, all right, getting ready to record the next section of the podcast, and hopefully they won't cut us off this time. Let's see. All right. Here we go. So I will start after the little girl who likes to eat people. All right. The story ideas for the town of Gloaming Falls comes from things that have actually happened or have reportedly happened on our very own, very real, weird planet Earth. So, we thought that since we aren't the only people out there interested in this sort of thing, we should share some current, old, and favorite high strangeness topics that interest us. We will also occasionally discuss some of the things that might inspire past or future episodes of our regular podcast, Mama Night Owl's Oddities and Curiosities Shop. You can check out that podcast and any new information at mamanightowl.com. So, we're still live. Went back. We're live. So
just don't say the
COVID.
Don't say. And the.
Oh, you can't say. Don't say. Okay. So, all right. So here's CTs. Okay. We're gonna talk about CTs a lot. Okay. So why don't we start by introducing ourselves? My name is Summer Jarvis, and I am a writer, narrator, and creator for Mama Night Owl's podcast, and a very Southern accented social worker in the Southern United States. I happen to love everything horror and everything creepy, and kind of live my life in that world. I happen to be the most interested in paranormal theology and cryptozoology out of the two of us. I'm going to repeat that sentence. I happen to be the most interested in paranormal theology and cryptozoology out of the two of us. And I'm going to stop and let's let Erin introduce herself. And we're still live. Okay, just checking. All right.
Oh crap, you're
Start again.
Okay, take two. And my name is Erin Weeks. I'm also a social worker in the southern part of the U.S., and I've had a lot of exposure to the world by living in different countries, cultures, and other states in the Southeast. Somehow, I have failed to overcome the suction that our tiny little town exerts on me, and I've landed right back here where I started. I'm sure there's
Do that sentence again. Do that
I'm gonna
sentence.
make the whole thing up again because it's like not written that way.
Again.
I'm an ad-libber. Okay. Where am I picking up? Somehow, I have failed to overcome the suction that our tiny little town has exerted on me and landed right back here where I started. I'm sure there's a Mama Night Owl story in that alone. Of the two of us, I'm the most interested in CTs, which is our main topic for today. I also like raising orphaned critters and forcing other people to do it too. I like particle physics, baking, and of course the Backstreet Boys.
And when she says CT, she means conspiracy theories.
You're going to get it shut down again.
So, no, we're still live.
Heck yeah.
All right, here we go.
Whatever we did to offend.
We're sorry.
We're very sorry.
All right, let's go next. Oh wait, no, you need to repeat that sentence. Hold on.
Damn it, where?
Just start it. I also like raising.
Okay.
Oh wait, no. Of the two of us, I would say actually say the word this time.
It's going to get shut down.
We'll find out.
All right. Okay. Of the two of us, I'm the most interested in conspiracy theories, which is our main topic for today. I also like raising orphaned critters and forcing that onto other people as well. Particle physics, baking, and of course, the Backstreet Boys.
Awesome. Let's see. Did that get us still alive? Okay. So next. This is the most fun for me because this is like the thing I do every day. So this was the most fun thing for me. All right, here we go. But before we dive into our topics for this week's episode, let's do the Mad World Thursday Weekly Roundup. Gotta do that again because we creaked the chair.
Sorry.
But before we dive into our topics for this week's episode, let's do the real world. We're not in the real world, guys. This is not MTV.
Maybe that's why we got done.
Okay.
Okay, stop squeaking.
But before we dive into our topics for this week's episode, let's do the Mad World Thursday Weekly Roundup. We have been diligently chasing down weird and bizarre news from the past week, and we'll give it all to you here. I hope that was clear enough. So, are you guys ready for the top weird stories of the week? Dun, dun, dun! And yes, we'll have some music at this point. We got to do something. I don't know what. So, here we go. So, top weird stories of the week. Number 1, the color-changing notebook. UK's Chancellor Rishi Sunak, I hope I'm saying that correctly, was videoed carrying a red folder that carried his budget proposal down the street. Once he passed by a car, the folder went from red to green. Video is in the links, which, so our show notes, we're going to have all the links to all of the sources that we have for you. So now, Erin, I need your thoughts on this because if you listen to the audio in the video, you can clearly hear the newscaster say something about the green budget when the folder changes colors. So this is what's happens. Have you seen the video?
I've seen the video. I don't know anything about this. I saw it when it happened, and I have seen nothing else. What did you find?
Yeah. Okay. So this to me is one of those cases where I feel like our news media is being, I don't know, almost silly
and playing us.
Yes. Okay. So this is what happened. So this guy, Rishi Sunak, or Sunak, Sunak. Oh, I'm sorry, sweetie, if I'm saying your name wrong. So basically, he's walking down the street and he's carrying a red folder. So let's say he actually looks a lot like this folder right here, only it's completely red. Okay. So he's carrying it down the street under his arm, and he passes by a car. And behind a car. So the car's here's the car, and here he is.
The folder is obscured behind the car, but his head is not.
His head is not. And so when he gets past the car, all of a sudden the folder has changed from red to green. So that's what happens in the video. It was caught live on TV, and it's caused a huge hullabaloo in the world. But the thing that bugs me about it is if you actually listening to the audio during this, when he passes by the car and it changes green, you hear the newscaster actually say something about his green deal. So it's almost like news media changed the folder from red to green. Is that right? Should they be able to do that?
Should who be able? I mean, anybody can do it, but
anybody can do it. But should our news media, who's bound by ethics, supposedly, be allowed to do that?
So what you're saying is that this was rigged. The media knew about it ahead of time. They reported it as it happened. But my thing with that is that to what end? Other than, I mean, I get it if you want to play a bunch of conspiracy theorists.
Well, no, I think I think the end was just to, I don't know, to almost be silly is how it felt. But is it right to do that? Is it right if you're bound by ethics to report the truth, to change even just the color of something?
See, I'm not the person to talk to about this because there's no ethics in the media.
But you're the only one
asking that question.
But you're the only one here. So
Ooh,
I feel like
they shouldn't be allowed to do that.
I don't think that's right. So anyway, like I said, this video is going to be in our show notes. Let us know what you think. We are on Twitter. We are on Facebook. We have a website, Mama Night Owl Podcast at gmail.com. Let us know what you think about anything we're talking about.
We should totally tweet that we're doing this.
Because I personally feel like that was wrong. And so definitely go check out the video.
So you're taking it like all the way that the news is just messing with people.
Yep.
The media is just messing with people. That's all it is.
Yep. I don't think he I mean, it could be really cool if this politician did a sleight of hand and changed the notebook to green on purpose because he knew the news media was there.
Was watching.
Like, that would be really cool. And if so, props to Sunak, Rishi, you go do, like, if you did that, you're an awesome politician and I would vote for you. Just because you could do sleight.
Forget about your platform. We don't care.
So, all right. So, that is the color changing notebook. So that is the #1 top weird story of this week for me that I absolutely loved. So #2, the Bigfoot sighting in Littleton, North Carolina. Did you watch the video?
I did. That was so cute.
Bless him. Cute. I loved him so much. I'm going to go back to Audacity real quick and just make sure it's still recording because, okay. Awesome. So, so it turns out Littleton, North Carolina has a cryptozoological and paranormal museum, which is now officially on my list of places to visit since it is only 4 hours drive from me. Anywho, a man walked into this museum on March 20th and claimed that just 20 minutes before he had seen Bigfoot in the woods behind his house. The older gentleman is crying and showing signs of being scared in the video. The man, who is named Jesse Walker, reported all of this to the owner of the Paranormal Museum. The owner of the museum, Stephen Barcelo, who is also a local commissioner of the town, went to Walker's home but saw nothing in his backyard but broken branches and depressions in the dirt. It should be noted that this is the 4th known sighting of Bigfoot in the area since 2016. So this is Littleton, North Carolina, 4 hours drive from us here in, can we say our location? Like, should we be paranoid? The big town of Sumter, South Carolina. So we're it's about 4 hours from us, and
squeaking the chair again.
She's squeaking the chair, guys. So it's about 4 hours from us, and they have had 4 sightings since 2016 of Bigfoot. I have actually contacted this place. I'm still trying to get the guy on the phone, actually, but I actually would like to go visit and have a little chat with him and maybe get him on the podcast. And maybe see if he'd give us a tour of all the places that Bigfoot has been sighted in the area. It'd be really cool. So Stephen Barcelo, if you're listening, dude, he is acting really scared. He's absolutely adorable. And I just wanted to hug him.
He needs a hug. Now, I need to get into some detail here. Depressions in the soil. What are we talking about?
So like, I think it wasn't clear footprints. There was just
like Sasquatch was wearing slippers.
Yes. He was wearing slippers.
Why not?
I mean, you know, I have this idea about Sasquatch, and this came, okay, I'm going to have to throw this out to the Mysterious Universe guys over at their podcast because they're the ones that gave me this idea. And I've been really thinking on this for a while. What if Earth, planet Earth, is like
the disk that we live on?
Yes.
Okay.
What if it is like Australia was back in the day, and Bigfoot is an interdimensional, no, or is it multidimensional prisoner? Like he is from another dimension, and they imprison his people here on planet Earth because they know that if they show their faces to us, we're going to shoot them. Somebody's going to shoot our Sasquatch. So, you know, they're really good at hiding. That's what they do.
I'm going to think interdimensional creatures wouldn't be so hairy.
Why?
Static electricity.
Oh, you think they just go in flames if they tried to go? They tried to show
It
up?
Seems like getting in between the dimensions would require some kind of
a suit,
slickness.
Yeah,
some kind
maybe
of
so.
Some kind of grounded latex product, maybe.
Kind of like Quantum Leap.
Yeah, the suit.
Yeah, the suit in Quantum Leap.
Yeah, I've never I've heard the idea of the interdimensional thing, but I think the hair.
Yeah, that's a lot of hair.
There's a lot of hair, and you know, has your husband ever walked barefoot across the carpet holding a balloon?
So my husband doesn't have a lot of hair up here.
No,
but yeah, I get your point.
All right.
Yeah. So, have you ever wanted to cuddle with a Sasquatch?
No,
I have.
I believe that.
But
I believe that.
I have cuddled with so many breeds.
I
have cuddled with so many breeds of dogs over the years that I'm thinking I've been close enough to it.
An Irish Wolfhound might work.
Ooh. If you have an Irish Wolfhound and would let me sleep with
and would let her take it between the dimensions
for a night. Yeah. Okay. So, like I said, that video is going to be in our show notes. So my next number 3 on the weird stories of the week.
You do this. I'm gonna go get a kitchen chair.
Oh, she's getting a different chair. So when you hear the squeaking, she just left. All right. Number 3 on the top weird stories of the week. Walmart reports high sales in shirts and not pants amid the quarantine. So, guys, I'm wearing pants. Erin is wearing pants, I promise. Okay, well, she's wearing shorts. But, I mean, they're actual shorts. Nobody is wearing, like, their Christmas pajamas right now. But, yeah, so Walmart says that, so let me go ahead and just read from my notes. So, number 3, Walmart reports higher sales in shirts than pants amid quarantine. And that's Erin moving around over there. We just want everyone to know that we are wearing pants right now, but evidently a lot of people that you might see sitting down for interviews in their homes right now might not be. Walmart, Gap, Athleta, which I've never heard of, and Old Navy have reported a surge in people buying tops, but pants or slack sales have been down. Sleepwear and leggings have been the top sellers since the quarantine started. Now, see, I'm a medical social worker. Erin is also a medical social worker. So when COVID-19 started, guess who still had to go to work? So, yeah, so I missed that. But now I will say that my visits have been a little bit down as far as patients that I've had to see because not her. She's completely different office than me. But I actually have been working in one of the counties that have lots of COVID-19 patients. So I've missed the boat on getting to sit around in just pajama pants.
Well, scrubs are kind of close.
Scrubs are. It does kind of feel like you're going to work in pajamas every day.
Why
It
does
really
social
does.
worker work home health? For the scrubs.
Exactly. So, yeah. So I thought that was pretty fun news that actually there is a reported uptick in the sale of tops and not pants right now.
Well, okay. So actually, I totally see this because today I worked all day. I got 8:30 to 5:30ish. I worked, but I worked from my bed. I did 3 conference calls.
Yeah, that's one of
in
the
a shirt. and I pajama pants, kids are about. So
yeah, one of the things about
walking around in my drawers, but I can totally see living from the top up.
Yeah,
that works for me.
Yeah. One of the things about home health social work is you see the patient, you might actually spend only about an hour with the patient, but once you leave that home, you're going to be spending like an hour on stuff for that patient once you leave.
Making calls, writing charts, calling people,
all kinds of stuff. So yeah, you do end up like you'll not have patients for a day to see, but you're spending that entire day doing other stuff. So yeah.
Yes.
So number 4 on our list of weird stories of the week, the mayor of Baltimore has to beg his citizens to stop shooting each other. Guys, all right. Baltimore is ranked as the 4th most dangerous city in the U.S. Baltimore's violent crime rate is reportedly almost 5 times higher than the national violent crime rate.
So Merck will run for its money.
So during the coronavirus outbreak, the mayor of Baltimore, Jack Young, actually held a press conference on March 18th where he said, "We cannot clog up our hospitals and their beds with people that are being shot senselessly because we're going to need those beds for people infected with the coronavirus. And it could be your mother, your grandmother, or one of your relatives. So take that into consideration
before you shoot somebody.
Please think about who needs that hospital bed." So this all happened after there was a mass shooting killing 7 people. I mean, if there was just the weirdest news of the week, that was one of them. I couldn't believe it.
Well, if they're dead, technically they don't need the bed.
But how many? Okay, sorry.
Could he appeal to them that if they shoot,
So don't shoot people. Try to kill your target instead of actually just shooting them in the arm.
Well, you said it. How heartless are you?
Okay. On to number 5, and this was just. Did you see this one?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so this is on our Twitter account. We posted it on Twitter. And quarantined man sends dog to store for Cheetos, and the dog totally came through for him. This literally happened in Mexico. Now, for my Mexican-speaking friend here.
I speak Mexican. Hi, I speak Mexican.
For my Spanish.
Yo quiero Cheetos.
Okay, I'm such a good social worker. That was just a goof, I promise. Okay, so for my Spanish-speaking friend over here, is Antonio Munoz. Antonio Munoz, a man in Mexico who was quarantining himself, sent his pet Chihuahua.
Chokis.
His
name is Chokis.
Across the street to a store with a note and money. The note attached to the dog's collar read, "Hello, Mr. Shopkeeper. Please sell my dog some Cheetos. The orange kind, not the red ones. They're too hot.
Oh.
She has $20 attached to her collar. Warning, she will bite if not treated right. Your front neighbor." The dog came back with Cheetos in his teeth, and the picture is absolutely adorable.
It really is.
It really is. And so, yeah, he that's on our Twitter and I think our Facebook account. So, yeah, it's beautiful. And hi, Portal 2099 who just showed up. And I do not know what that means, but he says Bigfoot with a question mark.
Yeah,
yes.
Sasquatch. Yes, we were talking about that.
We just finished talking about the Sasquatch sighting in Littleton, North Carolina, which, like I said, that video is on our Twitter feed. So Mama Night Owl Pod on Twitter. You can go check that out. So that was the top 5 weird news items of the week. And I hope you enjoyed that little roundup. That is Mad World Thursday roundup for you guys. And we are still recording and we are still live. Yay! We haven't been kicked out yet because whatever they said we did wrong earlier.
Apparently we've corrected it.
We did. We fixed the problem. So,
can I make you a hat?
Well, but no, because we're
it'll be all crinkly.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna make some like promo pictures tonight, and we're gonna make tinfoil hats, guys.
Shiny side out.
This is gonna be
I want a big Easter bonnet.
Me too. Okay.
So a sombrero for Chokis.
Yes, for Chokis. Oh, Chokis, I want to kiss you. Okay. So those are the top 5 stories we wanted to share in this week's Mad World Thursday Roundup. Now, like we said, we are going to discuss all kinds of things on this podcast that are related to the weird and the mysterious. But this week on Mad World Thursday, we want to talk about conspiracy theories. And with us being in the throes of the coronavirus, boy, has the world of conspiracy theories been going crazy.
Yeah. I think my favorite right now, I want to see how this pans out, is that Donald Trump and Steve Mnuchin have used the, not the bailout, the stimulus package to hijack the Fed and take control of it and make it back into the U.S. economy rather than be a private bank of its own. And see, this gets really complicated. So I won't go. Yeah.
Because see, like I love talking about conspiracy theories with her.
It just requires so much background knowledge.
And it's more her than me. Like if you want to talk about ghosts and Bigfoot and I don't know how demons tie into our everyday life, I'm your girl. When you talk about conspiracy theories, that's Erin. So she's the education person on this.
Yeah, I'm falling into a rabbit hole on that. We may flesh it out later.
Yeah. All right. So to start with, we just want to ask the question, what is a conspiracy theory? I mean, we all have a loose idea of what we think this means. And to answer that question, I'm going to throw it over to Erin to discuss just what is a conspiracy theory.
Oh, it's all things to everyone. So I did just the basic thing that one would do. I went to Merriam-Webster. They define conspiracy theory as a theory that explains an event or set of circumstances as the result of a secret plot used by powerful conspirators, which is, I don't feel all that realistic for what we deal with on a day-to-day basis. If you just take it by its words, conspiracy, that's 2 or more people trying to do something that they don't want the world to know about. Yeah. Theory is when somebody notices strange things are afoot, weird things are going on, and they start to postulate what it could be based on evidence that they can gather, but without actually being given any proof from the conspirators themselves. So conspiracy theories are, something happens, the media, the government, the big business, whoever it is that's done the thing, spins it to the world because it's such a big thing that you can't not notice. And they lay out a narrative of what happens that seems to be lacking. And so people like me who just, as my husband says, you have the disease of needing to know, who just need to know, we start losing our minds trying to figure stuff out. And so a lot of times, in reality, I think that conspiracy theories are probably more than half right and a little less than half wrong.
See, I always kind of believe the truth is in the middle.
That can get you in a lot of dangerous places, though.
But that's where that's
Get you
what
down
I
a lot of
always
wrong places.
I always just say the truth is in the middle.
Mm.
Somewhere. Okay. So why are conspiracy theories so important to us?
Portal 2099 says the magic bullet. Thank you. You know about that?
No.
Oh, well, see, that's the bullet that killed Kennedy.
I was fixing to say that, but I don't want to be stupid.
But it struck like 12 different things and went through a car seat before it got to him.
Oh, see now, Portal 2099, you and Aaron need to get together because
there's no, and it was found in the little well on the door of the car, and they said, "Oh, this must have been the bullet that did it." Did you know that Kennedy's brain is missing? It's not in a jar anywhere.
Oh, was it supposed to be in a jar?
Mm-hmm. It was supposed to be in a jar, preserved as part of his autopsy records.
Oh,
it wasn't buried with him. It's missing.
Einstein's brain is in a jar.
I believe that. So,
why are conspiracy theories important? Hey, her husband, Stuart. Back and to the left.
Exactly. He and I and Colette Daniels stayed up until about 4 a.m. one night, thoroughly examining this. It was interesting. Okay.
Was there alcohol?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It has to be. All right. Yeah. Why are conspiracy theories important to us?
They are important. Okay. Because people like me feel like it gives a sense of control. Like, you know, when somebody's, BSing you. And in real life, depending on who the person is, you can't really call them out all the time and say, hey, you're BSing me. In my opinion, this is a way of getting out that need to say, I'm not going to be played. You're giving me a line here. It's not adding up. I'm going to figure out why. Why is it not adding up? And the other part of it is, as we all know, the cover up is always so much worse than the action. And so when you're trying to cover it up, you're committing so many different, faux pas and crimes and issues that now you're just making it a spectator sport.
Yeah, definitely. But, and I also think that if you don't want people to dig into conspiracy theories, don't do things like what we talked about earlier with the color changing notebook. News media. Guys, come on. If you don't want all of us out there looking into conspiracy theories, don't change the color of a notebook while a guy's walking down the street. I think that's pretty obvious.
But see, that cracks me up, because if that was the media playing the people, we kind of deserve it. We kind of deserve it.
Okay. So let's discuss a few of the conspiracy theories that have been surrounding the coronavirus. If you can stand to talk about it anymore, that's what we're going to do. One that keeps circulating is that this was a man-made virus that was created either in a Chinese or U.S. laboratory. So there has been lots of finger pointing in the news as to where this virus actually started. Most scientists and medical professionals say it started in a live animal market in Wuhan, China. Yeah. Most scientists and medical professionals say it started in a live animal market in Wuhan, China, while others have been stating that it is a man-made Chinese bioweapon that was leaked from a biolab. Then China started blaming the U.S. military for spreading the disease in China. So let's break into the theory real fast. I was really surprised when researching this how many people actually said, well, why might there be a deadly man-made virus to begin with? Like, I thought that was pretty obvious why that might be the case, but the two main reasons why any country might be, creating a dangerous virus is either a bioweapon or research in treating other illnesses. So those are like the two big main reasons. Biowarfare and bioweapons have been around forever, and even as far back as 190 BC, Hannibal used poisonous snakes by tossing them into enemy ships. During World War I, the German army developed the use of anthrax, glanders, and cholera. And even as recent as 1995, Arne Shinriko. I know I'm saying this wrong. I'm so sorry. Which means supreme truth, which was a cult.
Shinrikyo
released sarin gas into a subway station in Tokyo. So that happened in 95 when sarin gas was released into the subway station in Tokyo. And all of this is going to be in our show notes. But
and then I have a lovely note here to say, don't forget smallpox blankets.
Exactly. Yeah, they were used against the Native Americans. They were also used during the Civil War. So that's one reason why somebody might be, why some country might be digging into trying to create a virus or taking an existing virus and making it worse, is for a weapon. The other is research into treating other illnesses. So now this is actually talking about bacteria and not necessarily a virus, but so in researching other illnesses and learning how to treat them, we sometimes create or alter an already known virus or bacteria to help fight what is already out there. Or if we are not trying to fight virus or bacteria, maybe we are looking into certain illnesses, for instance, how certain strains of bacteria in the gut can prevent or reduce Parkinson's. It's not a large leap that while working to help fight illnesses, we create deadlier or harder to fight viruses and bacteria. And this is also going to be in our show notes that there is evidence that Parkinson's doesn't actually start in the brain, and that it actually has a lot to do with our gut and the bacteria in our gut. So
that's the same thing with depression. Depression starts in the gut biome.
Yeah, there's a lot of evidence to think that the depression starts
from social workers. We know.
Yeah.
And I'm going to jump in on this because while we were looking at all this, there was a conspiracy theory that went about when the virus first came kind of public and we were talking about it. Someone had noticed that a coronavirus was patented in 2015, and they started a big, kerfuffle about how COVID-19 had a patent on it. And when you dig deeper, you find COVID-19 itself does not have a patent, but when you say coronavirus, all corona refers to is the shape of the virus. So you have viruses that are shaped like capsules. You have them, they come in different shapes. So corona is the shape of the virus. 19 marks, I don't know if it was the year or a different arrangement of molecules on it. I'm not really sure. But in 2015, a type of coronavirus that affects birds, 2 strains of it, was patented. And this happens a lot in virology when people are working towards a vaccine. So we knew we had avian flu, which I believe was a coronavirus as well. So a lot of times in pharmaceuticals, vaccines are discovered and then, viruses are discovered and then patented for the purpose of research. So I just thought that was interesting because somebody, and I put the link actually to an article that's got this on there, and it's also got where you can find the patents to the COVID virus. Somebody had found that and just blew up the internet on it. And that fed into the whole biological weapon idea. So there is not currently a vaccine. They're working on a vaccine. But it looks like medicinals are going to be a faster treatment option than vaccines anyway. So we'll see what happens with that.
But yeah, so a lot of people ask, why would there be a man-made virus to begin with? Those are the two main reasons: bioweapon or working on healing something else. We created something. Yeah. And then the next thing that a lot of people asked is, so why would someone want to start the spread of a virus that could potentially harm a large part of the world's population? So here we go. Portal 2099 kind of already hit on that, and we're just going to jump right into it. So first, depopulation. Why would someone want to start the spread of a virus that could potentially harm a large part of the world's population? To get down the population. Like, we need to get down the number of people on the planet. So this is the kind of idea of, did Thanos have it right? So There are a ton of reasons for this. Food shortages, pollution, and endangering animals are the big few. Some people believe that the only way to help save the planet is to deplete at least 90% of the human population. We actually have that in our show notes. We have an article in which someone said that. An ecologist.
We're not saying that these are the best sources.
No, not saying that at all. But we are saying that they're sources. They exist. You can go read them. Once this podcast is up on Thursday, all of this is going to be in it. So, yeah, it's an election year.
Election year.
So, another reason to create a world government. So, Portal 2099. Yeah. So we've all heard the idea of a new world order or one world government. It was spoken about in the Bible as a sign of the end times, and it is something that conspiracy theorists have been watching for any indication of that it's happening right now and that it's becoming reality. Well, if a large amount of the population is gone and governments state that they need help globally to get enough food supplies or stay afloat economically, then it is fertile ground for a global interconnected government to take control over what is left of the population.
I want you to know that you're like a dog whistle to my dog ears with that.
Yes. So
that's not how that works.
What? To create a world government?
You don't want to depopulate if you're trying to create a world government because they need as many slaves as they can have. Do you know nothing of the Illuminati?
Well, no, here's the thing. The idea, though, for a lot of people is that so we're too populated to be controlled right now. So if we depopulate, it's going to be much easier to start from fresh than it is from where we are right now.
That's a whole other show.
So, okay, so the idea that China is already a slave country.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, we all are.
Hey,
really.
if you have looked into anything about the Chinese organ harvesting that's been going on and the coronavirus, I mean, it's heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking. So this was a test for a bioweapon that's been going around. Some people believe that China or the U.S. created a bioweapon and tested it out on the world's population. Testing a bioweapon helps you if you want to know how a lesser form of a virus you already have might work on a population. Then for the population you want to potentially keep alive, you can inoculate them and release a more deadly version of the virus, keeping your people alive. I don't know that that's how this actually works, because once you actually look at how a virus works or bacteria, that's a little far-fetched, but it's also not. It's one of those, I almost wish we had a doctor to look at and go, okay, explain why this is or isn't a thing.
I wonder what Marianne's husband's up to.
Yeah, let's call Mike.
Let's call Mike. I don't know about that. I'm enjoying Portal over here. See, no, if it's an American plot, it's because those Medicare rolls are way too high. This is the boomer doomer.
Yeah.
It's not taking out the young people. I mean, you're going to get an outlier here or there where some young people have perished, but for the most part, if you're not over 60, you don't have to worry. To me, when I look at any kind of medical conspiracy for the U.S., if it was to be anything like that, I would say that it's to call out the largest generation. We had the greatest generation, and then we had the largest generation. And I'm an Xer over here, so I'm the smallest generation. I'm screwed.
What am I?
The world.
Oh, I think
you're on the cusp of a millennial.
I think I'm technically supposed to be a millennial.
What year were you born?
Don't feel like I'm a millennial. I'm 81.
You're on the cusp. You could go either way. You can go either way.
Yeah, I don't identify as a millennial. I know that.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's just, yeah. Hashtag boomer doomer. That's so sad.
Yeah. Yeah. So that should be the name of this episode. Boomer doomer. So here, another option is they want to get the current political party kicked out of power. So this I mean, gosh, this could go for anywhere in the world, really. But right now in China, there's only one government party, and it is the communist. It's a communist country. Over the past few weeks, we have seen just how oppressive the regime of China actually is, and there have been some rumors and some confirmed reports of silenced journalists and medical professionals trying to discuss or report on corona. There are reports that these people have gone missing or have been killed. The people are oppressed and controlled completely by their government. Their social media is monitored and censored.
Well, have you heard the whole social score that's going on over there?
No.
Oh, that's another thing. Like the Chinese government was trying to implement and is still trying to implement this idea of a social score. Like it's mandated that everybody have a cell phone over there now and be connected to the network. And if your social score isn't high enough, you can't leave the country. You can't get certain jobs. There's all kinds of craziness with that.
Oh.
So check it out. There are articles that I found. I didn't put them in here because I felt like it was a little too far off topic, where 21 million cell phone users in China have gone missing. They've just turned off their phones.
That's some Black Mirror stuff. I want to say
Yeah,
that was
it
like
is. Exactly.
Wasn't that like one of the very first episodes of Black Mirror?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's an interesting part of all of this because well, we'll get to it. Keep going.
Yeah, so anyway, so if you're in China, and which is where the disease came from, because it's in China. China. Why do you keep calling it Chinese virus? Because it came from China. So if you're living there and you're a secret agent and can get yourself a hold of a deadly virus, and it's going to wipe out maybe a good number of your people in office who control you because they are older, why not release it? I mean, if you're that oppressed, that's a theory, guys. Okay. So then let's discuss what was said by one of our own local politicians in South Carolina. All right. So right now, the U.S. government has a Republican as its president, and some people say that this virus is an attempt to pull the Republican Party down. Well,
Jim Clyburn.
Yeah. So
God bless him.
Well, majority
the most gerrymandered district in the country, by the way.
Okay. Well, Majority Whip James Clyburn of South Carolina, who is a Democrat, was reported as saying that the Phase 3 coronavirus relief package that he helped write was a tremendous opportunity to restructure things to fit our vision. Jim, whose vision is that exactly? I mean, come on. If you wanted a conspiracy theory surrounding the coronavirus, you just gave everybody something to talk about. Dear heart, bless you.
And this is a dense topic. When you really start to look at what Mr. Clyburn, well, it's kind of open mouth, insert foot. Since before the election, Trump was nobody's favorite. He was a grudge vote for a lot of people, and seriously. So, but before it got underway, the Republicans tried to throw him out. Then he got inaugurated, or he got elected, and before the inauguration, they tried to delegitimize his presidency. Then, we get into Stormy and Russia and just one thing after the other trying to get him impeached. During the impeachment trial, he's closing the borders because of Corona. He's being accused of being, a xenophobe for closing the borders. And then, 3 weeks later, he's being accused of not closing them soon enough. It's like, no, but they'll stop at nothing to get the dude out. And, whether you love him or you hate him, you really can't argue with that. I'm interested. I don't think that this was an effort to get him out, but I think that no one is going to let a good, good crisis go to waste. I think one of my favorite faux pas was Cuomo last week, Governor Cuomo of New York, griping about how the feds need to send him more ventilators. And then I don't know which news reporter it was, but they found stockpiled like 4,000 ventilators that had been received a few days before and were sitting in a warehouse, and he hadn't distributed them. And so I feel like
I think Cuomo's going to try to run for president.
Well, and that's some of the stuff. I found an article about that where he was thinking about it. He very quickly came back out and said that no, he's not.
Well, Hillary said that forever.
Right, right, and that's the thing. He's holding his daily press conferences just like Trump, but it's only him. He's not bringing in DHHS and the Surgeon General and everybody who's doing all the stuff. So I think that once again, this is one of those things where they're trying to take the man down, and all he's doing is showing that he's not really presidential, but what he is a businessman. From the get-go, he's got Ford making ventilators. GM, they gave him some kickback. They didn't want to make ventilators. So then he pulled that War Times Production Act on them and made them. So now GM is manufacturing ventilators. He's got McKesson, which does gloves and masks and stuff, working with FedEx and UPS to get he's bringing all these huge business people into the conversation rather than just saying the federal government will take care of it, because he knows the federal government can't. And it's one of those things where if they want him out that bad, they're going to have to build a platform to stand on rather than shoot a moving target.
Yeah.
So what does he say? Trump is doing what any president would do at this time. No. Exactly. And I don't know, maybe I think he's doing it completely different. I think that I want to sit back and imagine a Bush or Clinton or Obama. Imagine them in this scenario. Would they have pulled together private industry to solve this problem?
Okay, let's talk about that. Obama was in this situation.
Right.
Not to be
what did he do?
Yeah, not to be a political podcast, because to be completely honest with you, I'm neither left or right. I'm always kind of right in the middle. I always believe the truth is in the middle. So I don't want this to be a political podcast, and I don't really want to talk about politics a lot. But just for people out there researching this, my tagline for this show is do your own research. Don't take my word for it. I will give you some sources. I'll give you some great places to look at things, but don't listen to me. Go look
That's
for yourself.
She said, we're going to do a podcast. Here are the subjects. Go look.
Yeah. But yeah, Obama was in this situation. He actually was there. And, a lot of people think that Trump overreacted to all of this. I don't know.
He overreacts to everything. It's part of his charm.
Yeah. Well, like the world has overreacted. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sitting in Italy. I'm not sitting in one of their emergency rooms looking at how bad this really is. I can't tell you. But, Obama was there, and it took how many deaths before he even would act?
Right.
I mean,
but see, okay, I'm going to get Obama's back here. Watch me do it.
Okay.
Watch me do it.
She's more conservative than me.
I am. But I still feel like this is a complete overreaction to everything. And Summer and I disagree on this. Because I still look at the flu numbers. We still have 3 times the amount of flu going on, 10 times the amount of deaths from flu going on from January to now. We're losing our freaking minds over something that, is it going to be as bad as SARS? I don't know, but I don't think so. But it's certainly not as bad as influenza. It's not. And flu has taken out so many more people. And it's the same vector. It's the same way that you catch one from the other. It's not, well, what I mean is you catch flu in the same way as you catch coronavirus. So I don't understand. The reason I lean towards they're trying to oust the president is that this reaction is not warranted. It's really not. Summer and I, the county that Summer works in has it's not the highest rate of COVID in our state, but it's as close. And the counties I work in have very, very few cases. Across our own company, we don't have a cohesive reaction to it. Summer is being fitted for masks, where I'm getting emails from my boss saying, hey, would you quit wearing masks into people's homes? You're scaring them. So where is it? Where is it? And I feel like if there's a conspiracy to be had here, I don't think that the virus was intentionally put out to bring Trump out of office. But I think that, of course, anything could be used to try to be reason for it. And I think the way he has attacked it is unique unto him. I don't think that any other president would have attacked it the way that he has. And he's kind of been like, hey, you want to make a thing out of this? We'll make a thing out of this.
Well, I want to get off politics eventually, but I love having a businessman in the White House. I love it. I love having a businessman as a politician. Somebody who is not a lawyer, who does not come from a family of lifetime, generational politicians. It's a unique look at how to do things, and I will vote for a businessman over a politician any day.
I think the best qualification for any kind of elected official is a lack of experience.
Exactly. Yes.
Because, term limits. All right. Moving on.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
Getting away from that.
Where were we?
We were talking about, are we trying to oust a president with this virus?
Oh, okay. So I think that was those were the I'm just totally.
Those were the things you found.
Those were the things I found about the topic of where's my outline.
See, I have mine in order. Now we're going on to the stuff I found. So the stuff I found is quite different.
So wait. Hold on. Hey, was it a man-made virus? That's where we were. Was it a man-made virus? Just to touch on this, there are going to be some links in the show notes. James Woods, who is a huge conspiracy theorist, and I love him. He is so sexy.
Follow him on Twitter.
Oh my gosh, he is a hot older dude. Okay, so he posted some dude who's wearing scrubs and a hat, and I think he has a mask under his chin or something, talking about all of this. So I guess that's supposed to give him some credence. I don't know. But basically, the main theory is that this virus came from the Wuhan Institute of Virology, which is located surprisingly close to the live animal market where the virus actually broke out. A lot of people don't realize that. So the claim is that the virus was not released on purpose, but is an accident during a routine experiment. So the live food market where the bat soup was created that released this virus is actually not even 20 miles from the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
That is true.
So links to that will be in our show notes. So don't believe me, go look for yourself. And so let the skeptics say. Now, I'm not getting into the technical side of this. Aaron probably can better than me. The only reason I'm not getting into the technical side of it is because I ran out of time. But basically, there are multiple outlets that you can go look this up, and because they're going to explain it to you way better than I could anyway, all stating that this virus in no way, shape, or form was created in a lab. That is what the skeptics say. There's YouTube videos, there's tons of research that you can do just into why they have the knowledge and they can document and prove to you that this was not a man-made virus. Yeah, so you can go research that one for yourself. So, Aaron,
yes,
what other coronavirus conspiracies have been popular lately? And this is one I don't know anything about because, like I said, she's the queen of conspiracy theories. I just like reading on them lightly. She really loves going into depth.
I do.
So this one's a lot of fun. I like this one.
Which one?
The
5G?
5G.
Okay. All right. So Summer actually sent me an article before I even really looked at the 5G stuff. And I was like, what? This doesn't make any sense at all. So then I dug. All right. So here's the thing. The science goes like this. 5G utilizes 4G, which we're used to. We all use 4G. But then it also incorporates these high frequency radio bands that they're really, really high. And when high frequencies are emitted, they dissipate quickly. So you have to have transponders very close together in a community in order to be able to use 5G. So T-Mobile is advertising that they have 5G everywhere. And they do this on their individual networks by setting. You ever drive and you see these? Have you ever seen these antennas that look like Christmas trees? They're like way high up.
No, I don't think I've ever
All
paid
right.
attention.
Well, that's 5G antennas. So the idea is this, that 5G, really high frequencies, actually cause cell disruption. So I'm just going to read my notes because I'm going to get all off track here because I wrote out a really cohesive thing. The higher frequencies are of a shorter wavelength and dissipate over short distances. So they require a lot of transponders placed tightly throughout a community. We know that frequencies can be disruptive at different levels. Think of the opera singer who shatters the champagne glass with her voice alone. The theory is that these frequencies emitted for 5G are having similar effects on our cell membranes. Even without COVID-19, there are reports in the cities where this tech is being deployed that people are having flu-like symptoms. When you compare maps of density for COVID-19 and 5G use, there's a lot to be uncovered. So when I first looked at the maps, I was like, okay, it's like ice cream causes drownings.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So the one of the first things they teach in social work school is about correlation and causation. And that if you go by correlation alone, ice cream causes people to drown. And basically the theory is it's not correlated, or it's correlated, but it's not causal. So in the summertime, we swim more, we eat more ice cream. Thus, there are more drownings when there's more ice cream, but the ice creams aren't causing the drownings. So I looked at this map and I was like, well, this is really just following population density because it's not really showing that much until you start looking in places where you've had no 5G in Asia, accessed all over, because there's a lot of movement throughout Asia. You have no 5G, you have no corona.
Okay, so here's a thought on that. Is it possible that they're only putting 5G in very populated areas first, and so that just happens to be also the place that corona is spread?
It is possible
because it's high population density, and this is where most people are spending their time and their money is in these large cities. So we're going to put 5G in these large cities first, and then that's
what I was saying. That was my first thought. Until you start looking at what 5G actually does to people who are sensitive to it.
Oh, okay.
So it challenges your immune system because it makes your cell membranes weaker. Right?
Oh.
Okay. What's that say? Oh, yeah, Stand.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Summer's read The Stand. I have not read The Stand.
I love The Stand. It's one of my faves.
Mm-hmm. I don't have the attention span for books like that. So, also, here's some of the stuff I was chomping at the bit earlier. There were several interesting events going on at the same time as coronavirus broke out. Are you aware of this?
I don't know. Tell me. And maybe I am. Maybe I'm not.
Okay. So the other reason that they're thinking 5G has something to do with it is that the first test site for the first, I keep hitting things, I'm sorry, for the first test site for the first community run of 5G was in Wuhan in October. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah. It was first rolled out in China in the Wuhan district back in October, just before the virus hit. So it's not that it caused it, but what if it weakened everyone's immune system?
Oh.
Right. All right. And there was an event hosted in Wuhan during the same time, September, October, called the Military World Games. And as a coincidence, perhaps, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and the World Economic Forum hosted an event through Johns Hopkins at the same time called Event 201, a global pandemic exercise, wherein they role-played a simulation of a global pandemic caused by
a coronavirus.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Holy crap. So I opened the lid on Pandora's box when I sent you a link to 5G.
You sent me a link to 5G and I followed it.
Oh my gosh.
So check this out.
Okay.
This pushed me into a completely different ocean of rabbit holes. I don't know where I'm going to go with this.
Okay, well, hold on. Let me get comfortable.
Yeah, get comfortable.
Okay, let's go.
Now, and I'm going to read this so I don't leave anything out.
Okay.
On a completely different rabbit hole, I fell into this research is whether or not viruses are actually contagious. Okay. Or if they're even a thing.
Well,
The true conspiracy. This is a true conspiracy. Like this is, by definition, this is conspiracy. You want to dig into conspiracy theory, this is it. Okay. In my research, I stumbled on a video by a guy named Joshua Coleman. I provided the link. He shares that his whole ideology is that viruses do not exist as their own entities. He says that viruses are nothing more than junk DNA being pushed out of a cell as a result of a toxic environment causing the cell to misfire, so to speak. So he uses the idea that if we hear of a large lake fish kill, like a whole bunch of fish in a lake die, you send the environmental scientists down to figure out what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Do they immediately think, oh gosh, they all caught a virus and they died? Or do we think, ooh, they all have a genetic problem and that caused them all to die? Or is the first thing we look at the water in which they were swimming, right? So the first thing we look at is the environment.
Right.
Okay. So instead, the first thing we do is test the water to see if anything has happened in the environment that causes this. He then goes on to say that with each global pandemic, the predecessor was a whole-scale introduction of a massive amount of radiation into the atmosphere. So prior to the Spanish flu in 1918, there was the introduction of radio waves around the world. After sending up all the satellites into the Van Allen belt in 1968, we had the Hong Kong flu. We also introduced 4G around the time of swine flu. So he says that research was conducted at Boston Hospital during the Spanish flu, where they actually went and took swabs out of the noses of people who had it and pushed it into the noses of people who didn't. Nobody caught the flu.
Okay, but you could still do that with COVID. Like you could still
Well,
swab me.
that's what
If
I'm
I
saying.
was positive, you could swab me and stick it up her nose, and she might not get it.
My final thought on that was all of this social distancing is going to show us.
Yeah. Well, the numbers are going down. Have you seen the numbers went down? For South Carolina, they went down. So yeah.
This was also fascinating. I think the other part that I jumped into that had nothing to do with the science end was the economic end of things, where I had touched on earlier, where it's some conspiracy theorists, a lot of the Q people think that we're looking at a financial reset that's going on. That what I was talking about with the Fed earlier is that the Fed is a private bank set up by the Rothschilds and the all the big money names that you hear of. In 1913, it was set up, and so basically the job of the Fed is to keep the U.S. economy stimulated by offering loans and setting interest rates. So basically, the money that we spend isn't ours. It belongs to the private bank of the Fed. So this stimulus package, again, never let a good crisis go to waste. This stimulus package, what it has done is it has forced the Fed into a position of being the lender so that the U.S. government can buy back all of its holdings. So basically, it's taking money out of the Fed and putting it into the U.S. government, into the Treasury, and forcing the Fed to do that through the stimulus package. And so for those who are saying that we're looking at a financial reset, a true financial reset would be the forgiveness of all debt and back to the gold standard. I don't know that will ever happen. But there's something big going on with what's happened with the Fed and this whole thing. I got to find my notes on it because I had put notes, coherent ones.
She shuffles papers.
I do a lot, and I'm sorry. Okay. The people who have lobbied for a financial reset of sorts, to them, this would look like a biblical jubilee where all debts are forgiven and the economy is returned to the gold or silver standard. If one looked at the value of the dollar before the Fed came into existence in 1913 versus now, the dollar is only worth about 2% of what it was worth in 1913. So think of it like this. In 1913, a loaf of bread might have cost you 15 cents, whereas today it costs you $3.50. Mm-hmm. That's inflation. Mm-hmm. Inflation is created by the Fed. Mm-hmm. So when we were on the gold standard, we didn't have inflation. So when we moved to this fiat currency, it introduced inflation, devalues our dollar. So depending on how this thing plays out, and I'm not making this up, there's a link to a Bloomberg, Michael Bloomberg of all people, a Bloomberg article explaining how the Fed is having to pump all of its money back into the Treasury, which is going to,
So is this not the same as creating money?
No, it's very different.
How? Okay, I'm losing that thread. How is it different from creating money?
Different show. How deep do you want to go? We're talking about coronavirus.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll have to do this.
Printing
again.
money does not mean we have more money. Printing money means we have more pieces of paper that are worth less.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Is see, that's the way I kind of felt about this whole package, was that everybody's supposed to be getting what, $1,200.
Individuals are getting $1,200.
Like, yeah. Isn't that just printing more money?
And that's the argument. And see, that's the catch, because Steve Mnuchin, who is, I don't even know what his role is, I just know that a lot of people hated that he was in that role, basically wrote out this code section that said, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to hand these people this cash. We're going to let you print it. But then we're taking the printing presses from you. So our printing presses are no longer with the Fed. They're now with the Treasury. And if they buy back all of these loans that the Fed is holding, and they actually become property of the United States, then the Fed can't play with interest rates and manipulate the currency.
I need a graph. I need a whiteboard with somebody to explain this to me. Let's see. So Portal 2099, just say 5G is almost everywhere here, even in Podunk, South Carolina. So you're from South Carolina. Hi.
Do we know you, Portal?
I don't. Also, radio waves can kill just like microwaves.
Absolutely.
You get caught between two high enough frequencies.
Well, and the really ultra low frequencies for crowd control, they can vibrate your spleen right out of your nose.
Well, that's what they did to my husband. He did lithotripsy.
Mm-hmm. Lithotripsy.
He had, like, poor boo. He probably doesn't want me to talk about this, but he had kidney stones, and that's what they did. They crushed them by sound waves. It was pretty horrible too. It hurt. The fires that seemed directed in California were supposed to be that sort of weapon testing, some people were saying.
Read it, heard it, totally believe it.
Totally missed that one.
Well, there have been so many fires that, see, okay, again, more stuff. How long do we want to go? What are we at? An hour and 16
We're at an hour, but see, I'm going to edit this down.
Okay.
This is just the live YouTube.
This is a live stream, and you're going to edit. Okay.
Yeah.
So the fires, Trump cut off the sanctuary cities. He said, not going to send you any more federal funds until you start enforcing our immigration laws. So California started hurting for money real bad. And then all of a sudden they start having all these forest fires. And so there is a theory out there that directed energy beams were used in dry patches of forest to start the fires.
I had a crazy cousin once who actually thought that was a thing, that like her neighbors were directing energy beams at her, and she actually laid down with mirrors on top of her. We found out later.
Did she die?
No,
Did she get a really good tan?
Nah, she's as white as me.
My high school boyfriend cooked hot dogs with, radio waves. John Ayers, you have to ask him about it one day.
Isn't he the one that also cooked a hedgehog or something?
No. I've never heard. He had a hedgehog. He didn't cook it. He tried to give it to me. No. Okay. Ham radio guy. He cooked hot dogs with his radios. We might have deteriorated into nothing now.
Okay, so that was our episode of Mad World Thursday. Every week's going to be a different topic of something very weird or mad from our world. Next week, we are actually doing conspiracy theories again. What we've done is I picked out a book. And
she's going to make me read.
Yeah, I picked out a book, and I picked out her a book, and I said, okay, we're going to read these and talk about them. And but then the week after that, we are actually going to do paranormal. I'm kind of hoping that maybe just maybe I'm going to
yes, Mandela.
I know, I love the Mandela effect. And what's crazy is when I hear about the Mandela effect from people, I'm in there. Like I remember these things this way too. And now I never thought Mandela was dead though. That was one I never got.
I have Mandela issues all the time from people, conversations. No, you said this. No, I remember this conversation. It went this way. No, it didn't. I have this stuff all the time. It's crazy.
That's just bad memory.
No, it's not. No,
so
it's straight up Mandela.
Next week is we're doing conspiracy theories again. We've both picked out a book, or I picked one out for me and one for her, and we're gonna kind of chat about those two books. And then also the next week after that, we're gonna do paranormal and cryptozoology a little bit, because I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, that I'm gonna have a go ahead from the guy in Littleton, North Carolina, with the Cryptozoology Museum.
What if we could find the little man?
Oh, Mr. Walker. His name was Jesse Walker.
See, we're not just social workers. We're geriatric social workers.
No, we love them.
We love old people.
So I'm hoping that maybe I'll have a go ahead from him to maybe set up a loose date to go to North Carolina and chat with Mr. Barcelo, who is the owner of the museum, and he shot the video of the older gentleman telling about his
Sasquatch experience,
Bigfoot experience. And so that's going to be the next one. So next week is going to be conspiracies again. The week after that is going to be, we're going to hit paranormal or cryptozoology. So stay tuned. And actually, if you want to know, I can tell you the names of the books we're going to read for next week. So there
are 5 whole people watching us.
5. Oh, y'all are so sweet. I took pictures of these books. So just in case anybody else wants to follow along with us, we'll have a book club. So for her, I got Clouds of Secrecy, the Army's Germ Warfare Test Over Populated Areas by Alan Cranston. Don't think he's sorry. It's by Leonard A. Cole with a foreword by Alan Cranston. Pretty sure he's not related to the actor Bryan Cranston. And then I am going to be reading The United States of Paranoia, a conspiracy theory by a man named Jesse Walker. So I'm pretty sure it's not the Jesse Walker from...
You lost me.
From the Cryptozoology Museum.
What if it is?
So that's our episode, and you can check us out. So if for anybody who has just tuned in, this is connection with Mama Night Owl's Oddities and Curiosity Shop, which is a fiction podcast, but everything that we talk, all the stories that are on that fiction podcast come from things that have actually happened in the real world. So,
or at least been reported in the real world.
Yeah. They're inspired by our really mad world. So we thought, well, since I'm already talking about these things every day anyway, let's just do a whole nother podcast, because we know other people like to talk about these things too. So this is Mad World Thursday, which is connected with Mama Night Owl Oddities and Curiosity Shop. So you can check us out at mamanightOwl.com. Twitter is Mama Night Owl Pod. Facebook is Mama Night Owl Podcast, and you can email us at mamanightowlpodcast@gmail.com.
You straight up need an Instagram.
And I started an Instagram, but I haven't taken any. Well, tonight we are doing the tinfoil hats for a little promotional picture.
Oh, that made us, the blue made us pinker. The camera adjusted color. Put it down, it'll go back to being cool.
We're having way too much fun with this. Okay, so
take blue again.
All right, we're out. Peace out. Don't believe us. Do your own research. Good night.
Nice, Bill.